third or fourth video in our data analysis project. So we just created the functions. So let's start running them and let's see what we get. We got an error. And that's not, it can be frustrating to see errors in your coding when you do this. So let's inspect this. So we went back up here. We go back to our function. Okay, so I can see one thing that I forgot to do. So we want to do where we assigned our first graphic to AX. We want to call the AX argument inside of the second one and set it to the same object. So basically, we're going to put the graphic on top of each other. And there's one other really small little area, hard to find, but where I have feet, it should be features. So feats, it should be the list of features that we're giving it to loop through, not just feet. Feet is going to be one variable from this list comprehension here. But we don't really want that. We want the list of features to select out all of the columns that we're going to put into this function, and then put them on top of here. So let's run that again with our new corrected changes. Let's go and see. And no problem here. Okay, good. So let's run this one. And you can see here so the line is the total value. You can see is the cumulative value, and the difference features, the percentage change features that we've incorporated, they all show in terms of the maximum value. So this can show you how much it's changing when it first started, a very large percentage, and you can see the percentage has so slowly tapered off, as in there's not as much more drone activity, there's not as many drone losses. Really, in general, we can see that the war has become more conservative if we look at it from the features that we've created and really the changing values, not just the cumulative values. So mean plot shows us the mean, the average of the months, so the average drones, the average helicopters, and the average aircraft. This is again the values, the cumulative values. This is the average after they've been accumulating, so it does kind of keep going up. I mean, one point to notice here is that helicopters are not really increasing. The amount of losses have kind of tapered off and not really increasing anymore. And then looking at the sum of the difference for the months is the amount of change that's happened in these values. And we can see that even in May, there was just a ton of drones. And really, seen this in the news, it really is becoming a drone war. And you can see that's where a very substantial amount of losses are happening. You can see in May, almost 300 drones were lost. And so this is why I think Ukraine is asking for observation or asking for donations in the form of drones. And we can see that it really seems like a big part of this war, and where the war is progressing. Okay, so these observations, takeaways that you can take away. So change more cautious strategy starting in April, and increased long missile attacks. So we go through these for each one of these. I won't kind of repeat these and go through these, but you can inspect them. So remember, the line is the cumulative value, the way the data was given to us, and the bars will show the percentage change in terms of in context of the final value. And then showing that, and this shows the average per month of the values of the cumulative value, and this shows the total change in values going forward. It's the same thing for each one, and going through for each plot, and they're really truly quite interesting. You can spend a lot of time. It really seems like in general that the war has switched to a more conservative strategy. This is interesting. There were a couple values that were kind of just not easy to plot. Personnel, it's not a numeric feature, so personnel is meant to kind of be an estimate for the amount of values lost. And so we can see here personnel about 114 about, and then 6 is more. This is an estimate of the amount of people lost. Was it more than their number, or was their number pretty accurate? And so we can see most of the time. And we can do this just by checking value counts and seeing here. Doing this again in the next section, checking out the value counts of the greatest lost direction. This is a category feature, but there's a lot of different values. And so it just was easier to plot this way in a quick, easy plot that we'll do. So dot value counts, and that gives us the count of each value. And then I'm going to go dot plots, and just to kind of, going to put this into a nice bar plot. I'm doing plt.xticks to change the rotation so that we can still read these. and then just showing that table. Look at that right there. Okay. So we'll head into the bivariate and the final section next. See you in